right, welcome back. This is going to be part 94 in my presentation on Dinosaurs and Man. And in this video here, we're going to talk about another track in this block of Dinosaur and Man tracks found together, fossilized. And so if you'll look on the screen, this is what's known as the Burdick Track. The Burdick Track. It was found in Cretaceous limestone in Glen Rose, Texas. Now, this Cretaceous layer was dated by evolutionists to be 110 million years old, and it now resides at the Creation Evidence Museum that Dr. Carl Ball has. And so now, in Loma Linda University and Cordell Van Hoos, they sectioned this track here to find out if they could find any evidence of it being a carved track, or was it a legit track. And now I do have this track. As far as I have a casting of this track. It's quite a large track to behold. And for time purposes, y'all, just for time's sake, I'm not going to go into it, or this video will be much longer than what it should be. And I'm going to try to go through this track all at one time in this video here. And so, but what they did is they sectioned, in this picture here, they sectioned across the ball of the foot. And they said, Dr. Don Patton stated, he said the track was sectioned by Loma Linda University, and the results were not definitive. While they reported some structures within the rock which seemed to conform to the surface features of the track, they considered the evidence equivocal, or it was uncertain or doubtful. Now, what they did is they sectioned across the heel of the foot and the toes. And this was, it says Cordell Van Hoos, and a lapidary expert from Midlothian, Texas. He was a friend of Dr. Carl Ball. And Dr. Patton stated the heel was a more logical location than the ball of the foot chosen by Loma Linda University. Greater displacement of material would occur at the heel, where force is concentrated. At the ball of the foot, force is broadly dissipated. And so right here, you can see the heel cross-sectioned. And we're gonna point out some things on this. And so now, looking at this right now, the portion that you're looking facing us is that heel that's already been cut across, and you ought to be able to see that area. I can see it's just as clear as a bell. But what I did is I took a line, and I'm going to show you that area. So that area right here is what they're talking about. You can see where this track is legit. It actually, you can see the layering underneath, how it was compressed. And so now let's look at the picture without the line. That's without the line. You can see that. You can see where this track was. This was an actual human that made this track. Let's go back to that line. Now let's go back without the line. See that? Let's do it one more time. With the line, without the line. You can see that. It's there. The track is legit. Dr. Patton stated, he said the results were dramatic. The picture speaks for itself, which I do agree. The material directly under the heel had been disturbed by pressure. The contours were not carved. He said Ron Hastings, researcher, then acknowledged that this procedure established that it was a real track, but contended that it must be a dinosaur track on which someone had carved toes. And so again, you get some people just will not believe it. And so what they did is they cut across the toes, and they wanted to see if those toes were in fact carved, or were they legit. Okay, what I did is I numbered the toes going across, and I'm going to point out some details here in just a second, but this is what it looked like after they cross-sectioned it. Dr. Patton stated, again, the Burdick track was vindicated. Even at the toes, the cross-section was photographed under black light so that the structure would show up more dramatically. Clear, obvious pressure structures can be observed following the contour of the toes, especially at the great toe. There is now demonstrable evidence that even the toes were not carved. And so this right here is the big toe area, and you should be able to see that layer there that's bent, that's pushed in, pushed under. It's the dark area. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a line and show you that. This is that area right there. That's with the line, without the line. Can you see that? That's where the big toe came down. With the line, without the line. And you got to understand that on all of when you're putting your foot down, you're going to put more pressure on that big toe area than anything. That's the stabilizer. That's what gives you your balance. And so, and I can show you scripture that actually points this out. And Judges, this is what I thought about this right off when I was thinking about the toe having more weight distribution on it and a balancing, and you need it. You need it for balancing, and it's very important. I thought about Judges chapter 1, chapter 1, verses 1 through 7, and we're going to read that. I'm going to show you. It says, "Now after the death of Joshua, it came to pass that the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, Who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them? And the Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simeon his brother, Come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Simeon went with him, and Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hand, and they slew of them in Bezek 10,000 men. And they found Adonai-Bezek in Bezek, and they fought against him, and they slew the Canaanites and the Perizzites. And Adonai-Bezek fled, and they pursued after him, and caught him, and cut off his thumbs, and get this, his great toes. And Adonai-Bezek said, 10 kings having their thumbs and their great toes cut off, gathered their meat under my table. As I have done, so God hath requited me. And they brought him to Jerusalem, and he died there. So this Adonai-Bezek said that he did this to kings, and that they would come and eat, and they didn't have any thumbs or great toes. So they didn't have any thumbs, they couldn't grab a weapon, and they didn't have any great toes, so they couldn't run. They couldn't have any balance. They couldn't balance themselves to do any type of fighting or running. And so again, the big toe has more distribution put on it than anything else as far as toes wise. So you do need it. It's a very important feature of your foot. Now, some people might say, well, Donnie, this foot sure looks weird. If you look at it, it looks kind of odd. Well, it very well may be. Just looking at it, it looks like the person may have been running, and what they did is they put their foot down to turn, just like a football player would. If a football player was wanting to jolt to the right or left, their foot would have a different shape to it in the ground. And so this right here is what it looks like. It definitely looks like that. If this person might have been turning to the side, going to the left, and so their foot would give a different shape on the ground. And so, the Journal of Forensic Sciences did a study. It's Barefoot Impressions and a Preliminary Study of Population Frequency of Their Morphological Features. This was back in 1989. And it answers the question, what is too wide and what is too narrow? And they studied 50 people, 50 subjects was studied. And what they came up with is that this foot here is 13.25 inches long. The toe width to toe length was 58% had this type of foot here. The toe width to ball width was 27% of the people matched, and heel width to ball width 60% of the people matched, and ball width to foot length was 46%, and toe angle The toe angles was 5%. And so again, to me, I still think this individual was running and was jolting to the left, and their foot gave that impression there in the mud. That's what it looks like to me. That's just my opinion on this, though. And so, but again, fascinating track here. All right, we'll stop right there. When we come back next time, we're going to look at another track, but it's just a fascinating topic, guys. And with today, we have technology that they didn't have when these tracks were first found, and now they can study tracks without even cutting them open. They can do X-rays and CT scans, and so which is absolutely just amazing. Some of the things that they can find out about tracks, and so. But we'll talk about that later in another video. But you guys take care. I hope the Lord blesses you real good. I love you. Y'all have a good day.